Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Monday, July 29th, 2024. So this will cover the week of July the 22nd through the 28th of 2024. Already 7 months of the way through the year. And this was probably the most productive week we've had all year because it was the first Platinum Dumpster Dive of 2024 and possibly the only one, or at least the only one with the number of games that I did in a single night. Because I think I set a new record for myself with like 17 Platinums in one night. Obviously, not exactly the highest quality of games. But this was an extremely successful overall week, thankfully, so we've got a lot to talk about. This might be kind of a longer update. So the first game I did was The Light in the Darkness. This was the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game. This game tells the story of a Jewish family in France during World War II and all of the horrible things that happened then. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to actually say certain of those words on YouTube without getting demonetized. But you probably know exactly what I mean, and all the trophies in this game are actually story-related and unmissable. You can platinum the game in a little bit under an hour, maybe like 45-ish minutes total, so every trophy is unmissable and story-related, and it's a pretty good little game for what it is. I think it was only made by a handful of people. It's got a neat, sort of a neat animation style, especially for how few people actually, worked on the game and all, and it's a very dark, very sad, depressing story, so if you need a little bit more depression in your life, I guess this would be a good place to go for it. But anyway, every single trophy is unmissable and story-related. You're going to get all of them just by playing through the game. Once again, there's not really much more else to say about this. The final trophy pops once the final credits sequence is over, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's really about all there is to say about this game. Both versions of it are that quick and easy, so again, nothing much more else to say about it. I guess we can move on then. So, the first big game finished this week was The Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series. This is the North American version of the game. Finally got that Platinum trophy done. It only took almost 4 months to get through. I mean, obviously I could have done it much faster, but I actually ended up streaming the entire game, or almost the entire game, on YouTube. It took 11 streams. The only thing I didn't stream was about the first half of episode 2 of season 1 and the first episode of season 1, because I didn't really think that it would be an interesting idea for streams, but it actually turned out to be kind of interesting, so I was kind of surprised by that, and people actually tended to enjoy it overall. So, every single trophy in this game simply requires you to complete all of the Walking Dead games. So, extremely easy Platinum trophy. It's a 1 out of 10 in difficulty. The problem is the amount of time the game takes. I think that my final time was something like 37 hours of playtime, and that's 37 hours of Telltale playtime, which is just walking around and doing certain dialogue options pretty much is all you do, and a little bit of combat here and there. So 37 hours of Telltale gameplay is very different from something like 37 hours of Call of Duty gameplay or something like that. But yes, every single trophy is unmissable and story-related. The way I was able to make this more interesting was I played through the entire game using only the circle button to make my decisions, and more often than not, the circle button tends to give worse outcomes to things, and it resulted in me getting a lot of really rare outcomes, especially in seasons 1 and 4. I don't really... Because, like, Season 1, I got what I consider to be, like, the worst of the two endings, because only 5% of people picked it, as well as a few other super rare outcomes in Season 1. Then Season 2 was the only one that kind of came out well, because I got what I consider to be one of the two best endings of that season, so I'm actually happy with how that season ended. Then Michonne, I didn't really care about, because I don't know if anyone really cares about that mini-season. Then Season 3, I mean, that season is just bad in general, but... I mean, I'm pretty sure I picked one of the worst possible endings because you get several people killed, you steal someone's wife, and then he dies, and it was just not the most positive of outcomes for certain characters. And then the final season, again, still did not end the way I would have liked it to have. It still had quite a few rare decisions. But it was an interesting way to play through the game, a very different way to play through the game, definitely not the way the developers intended for you to play through it, because usually I think they want you to be more often hitting the square button, because it's usually a more positive outcome. But hey, it made it a little more interesting to play through this once again, because at this point, I played through Season 1 a total of 3 times now on PS4, PS3, and Vita before now. So this is the 4th time I played through it, not to mention I played through it, or will play through it again whenever I do the Japanese version of the game. But that version actually does not include the Episode 6, the 400 Days DLC, so thankfully that cuts down a bit on the time. Then Season 2 is just 5 episodes, so Season 1 with the DLC is like 10 to 12 hours long, closer to 12 hours. Season 2 is only about like 8 to 9 hours, I think. So once again, just all story-related, unmissable. I played through Season 2 a grand total of 4 times now because I did the PS3, PS4, and Vita versions. Of course, this one was a little bit unique in that in the original version, it was structured as like separate DLCs based off of episode 1, so it didn't have a platinum. So it's now the 4th and final time, well, not the final time, but the 4th time now I've played through this. The only reason I would play through this again is if I do either the other Walking Dead collection that's on PS4, that's just seasons 1 through 3 in Michonne, which I actually own that, but I'm not going to stream it. And then if I ever do the European version of this game. Then you have Season 3, which is the shortest of the regular season. Season 3 only takes maybe like 6 hours, so it's fairly quick. Then Michonne's DLC takes 3 to 4 hours, like 3.5 to 4 hours, so it's by far the shortest part of all this. And then Season 4 is about 8 to 9 hours as well, so it's a little bit longer even though it's only 4 episodes. So yeah, it took quite a bit of streaming to get through all of this, but it made it a lot more enjoyable because I got to have you guys in the chat to talk to and keep me sane during all these long periods of time. And it was interesting to see some of the strange outcomes we got on certain things. So yeah, it's a very different way to play through the game. Definitely consider it if you are kind of concerned about like playing through these games for another time. Because like the first time you play through them, you can concern yourself with the story and everything, but on subsequent playthroughs, when there's no like big reveals or anything like that, it just makes more sense to play around a little bit differently. So now when it comes to Telltale Games, the only ones I'm technically missing are the Japanese version of Season 1 of The Walking Dead. I'm missing the European version of the Telltale Definitive Series. I'm missing the Telltale Collection, which is the previous one on PS4 that's just Seasons 1 through 3 in Michonne. So I'm missing all 3 of those. Then I'm missing 3 of the 4 versions of the final season, which is both the European versions and the North American digital version, which I actually do own that, so I could play it at any time. And then I'm also missing The Expanse, all 3 versions of The Expanse, so still need to do that at some point. And I think that's pretty much it, aside from like the new releases of the old Sam & Max games, I think is a thing that's up there now. I'm not sure if that really counts though, but hey, you know, making progress on the Telltale games, completed a vast majority of them. Of course, we're going to get Wolf Among Us 2 either in late 2024. Hopefully it's still coming out then, or it might not be till next year at this point. It might be delayed. So, the next game to talk about, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So, I am very close to being done with this god-awful DLC. There is not much to go. All that's left at this point is to grind the 50,000 zombies kills, of which at the time I'm recording this, I'm at a little over 36,000, so over 70% of the way through. But I mean, it is not a fun grind. I am 30 hours into zombies and I've still only got like 36,000 kills. It is just a painfully boring grind, and it is, again, just not a fun zombies mode. It's even worse because it's all online only, so if the servers decide to be crappy on any given day and just like lag you around, that can of course cause plenty of problems. So, let's see, I think the only trophy I got this week was the level 55 trophy, which you're guaranteed to get along the way to your 50,000 kills. I'm already close to level 100 for that matter, so don't even worry about that. And then, again, like the only sort of slightly difficult zombies trophies overall, this one, if you have a decent backpack, you can carry in a bunch of the perk cans at once and then just like buy one more. And then this one is a little bit finicky because sometimes you can't always pet the doggo. Then you have this one, which is actually really, really easy to cheese because all you have to do is have one player finish 5 contracts out in the main world while the other player that needs the trophy stays in the red zone, the high threat zone. Doesn't even matter if you die or not, as long as they complete those contracts while you're there, you're good. So it automatically, it unlocks that way, so it makes it super easy to get. Then Act 3 I combined with the killing Orcus in a 6-player squad, which is still such a stupid trophy. But hey, I mean, I was with a group for it. It wasn't too bad with a decent group once we were able to actually find each other, which took like an hour and a half of searching on groups. So that was just, again, it's just a stupid trophy. That's the word I use for so much of this game. And then, of course, just 50,000 total kills, but thankfully this trophy does auto-pop. So whenever I decide to do the PS4 version of the game, the worst trophy, most time-consuming trophy will auto-pop, and then I'll just have to do the Warlord kill and the Orcus stuff, again, which will be kind of annoying. The 5 contracts won't be a problem because there's that easy method to do it, and then a few other just easier bronze trophies that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then, of course, the campaign trophies, but all the campaign stuff can be done in 10 hours, maybe even... Yeah, I'd say about 10 hours probably, because you got to beat the game on veteran, then you got to go back to certain missions to do miscellaneous stuff, and a few of the trophies are kind of annoying, specifically these ones in Reactor that are a little bit finicky. But, I mean, I will say it was kind of funny because I went in and did a challenge run of this game this past weekend, and I decided to do a handgun-only challenge run for Modern Warfare 3 because I haven't done one in, like, well over a year, and... this was the closest I have ever gotten to successfully beating one of those challenges. I came extremely close. 14 out of the 15 missions are possible to do using only a handgun, and also non-lethal flashbangs once or twice, but otherwise, like, it was actually the closest to being possible of any one of these I've ever done. There was only one mission that didn't work for it, and you can probably guess which one if you played through the game. So that was a big surprise for how bad this campaign is. At least it redeemed itself a little bit with that, I guess you could call it achievement almost. So yeah, Modern Warfare 3, there's a very good chance I'll be done with it this coming week. I just need those last 14,000 kills. I may need a few more than that, though, because, like, the nuke kills don't count for the trophy, so neither do kill streak kills, so I might need, like, another 1,000 or something beyond, so, like, 51,000. But if everything goes right, I should have that platinum trophy this week. Well, not platinum, of course, because it's only 100% for some reason. Anyway, then we get on to Friday night's Platinum Trophy Dumpster Dive, where I obtained a new record for myself, 17 Platinum Trophies in a single day. Now, obviously, these are not good quality games for the most part, but hey, you know, I do these only like once or twice a year now. It is what it is. For the most part, I don't really play shovelware stuff anymore outside of those dumpster dives. Try to avoid it as much as possible because it's so bad for trophy hunting. But once or twice a year, it's fun to just get together, get a little intoxicated with your YouTube friends, and just play through some terrible games and laugh at how bad they are. So the first one, I mean, this wasn't the worst game I've ever played by any means. It's called Risky Roads. This is just a mobile game that got ported over here to the PlayStation. And I did both the PS4 and PS5 versions, I think just North American versions of each of them. So with this game, the Platinum Trophy is pretty easy. It takes about 10-ish minutes once you know what to do. So you have to pass cars nearby, so you have to like get near misses on cars, because basically the game's just going to have you wandering across a street or a series of streets with cars coming down them, and the only thing you can do to interact is just hit the X button to reverse your chicken's direction. That's basically the entire game. So you have to complete a grand total of 10 levels, which is very, very easy, the first 10 levels of the game. You have to pass nearby cars a grand total of 20 times, I believe. Yeah, it's 20 times total. Then you have to get a grand total of 2,500 coins, which does take a little bit of extra effort because of one other trophy I'll show here in a second. You can get it by the time you finish all 10 levels, or the first 10 levels, but if you are still a little bit off, you might have to finish like one more level after that. So, along with all that, you have to hit the 10 times multiplier after completing a level. You're going to need to hit this multiple times to get enough coins. At the very end of the level, you can time a little multiplier, and if you do it right, you will get 10 times the amount of coins. You really need to hit it on about every level to get enough coins to get this in 10 levels. You also have to die once, which is probably going to happen naturally just from not paying attention or something. So yeah, this version of the game, so it looks like 8:39 p.m. was the first trophy. Was that my first trophy? Yeah, 8:39, and got the Platinum Trophy at 8:49, so this version took about 10 minutes, and the PS5 version took 6 minutes, so 6 to 7 minutes, so you can definitely do it in under 10 minutes, no problem. Not a difficult Platinum Trophy at all, and like I said, wasn't the worst way to start out the weekend, or the worst way to start out the dumpster dive. Then we have Sakura Succubus 2. It is a Sakura succubus-y game of succubuses that... Succubus, things. I don't know where I was going with that attempted joke. But this game is like all the other Sakura Succubus games. It is a visual novel game, and you can use the sort of text speed up feature and skip feature to get through the game really, really quickly. Now, this game does require you to make specific decisions at certain times, and I believe this is one of the ones that makes you make a couple of backup saves if you want to do it more quickly. But otherwise, that it's just a visual novel, just follow a guide, and you should have no problem getting this platinum trophy in about 2 minutes, probably. It came out to about 2 minutes of actually playing, so just put your settings into the correct place to where you can skip through everything quickly. You'll make a couple of saves at different times, just pick certain dialogue decisions, and you're good to go. So that's the PS4 version. The PS5 version I did a little bit faster, probably because the PS5 it functions faster, obviously. So once again, it took like 1 to 2 minutes to get all the trophies. Just make your saves in certain places, and you're good to go. And then we did do another one of those later on, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. So the next game, BMX Wild Run. Here is the true definition of a shovelware game, a very much 100% shovelware game. So in this game, you're on a bike, like a BMX bike, I guess, and you're on like an island somewhere, and you have to do tricks to score points. You don't have to do all the points in a single run. They add up cumulatively over time. So the Platinum Trophy is not difficult at all. The main problem is that, one, the controls are really, like, janky and weird and terrible. I mean, the entire game is terrible, obviously. But along with that, it's kind of tricky to get the game to register tricks happening, and points just kind of seem to come up randomly at times. It doesn't make any sense. It's a terrible game. Like I said, true shovelware, the person that you're playing as, like, never shuts up and makes lots of annoying noises throughout the game. But all you have to do to get the Platinum Trophy is amass a grand total of 5,000 points. Again, you can do this over as many runs as you need to. So I would suggest just like mashing all the buttons at once every time you respawn, and you should get at least some amount of points from your tricks before you end up like going down to the bottom of the hill or going into the water. Don't try to play the game legitimately, just try to spam buttons as quickly as you can to get through it. So it took 6 to 7 minutes for the PS4 version of the game, and the PS5 version of the game only took about 2 minutes, like 1 to 2 minutes. So you could probably even do it a little bit faster if you could know like what map to use and get the controls to work a little bit better. But yeah, that was not a good game, so let's definitely not ever play anything like that again, at least not until the next dumpster dive. And we have another dumpster divey platinum, Varos. This is from that developer that releases quick and easy platinum trophies, but along with that, they're never cross-buy, so you end up having to purchase them twice if you want to play 2 different versions of them. So PS4 and PS5 is not cross-buy. They're obviously not expensive games, but I'm not going to waste my $1.50 on multiple versions of this because that's just silly. So I just decided to play only one single version of it on the PS5 and paid probably less than $1. It was probably on sale for like 90 cents or something. So this Platinum Trophy, all you have to do is score a total of 500 points in a single game. So this game is basically like a 3-lane runner type of game, except it's not really lanes. You just use the control stick to move left and right across the screen to avoid obstacles. And you just need to score 500 points in a single game. Now, if you're like me and for some reason just are not very good at this type of game, it might take you a few more tries or a little bit longer. If you do it on your first try, you can obtain this Platinum Trophy in about 2 to 3 minutes. But for me, it took about 6-ish minutes from the time of the first trophy because I'm just not very good at this type of game. And I just kept kind of not really paying attention like I should have, so it took more tries than it should have. But, I mean, it's a very easy Platinum Trophy, as you might expect, so as long as you just pay attention to the game, you should be able to get this in a couple of tries. Next up, Twice Reborn, a vampire visual novel. So this is, of course, another quick, easy visual novel game. With this one, you can once again up all of the text speed and everything. And just like with the Sakura Succubus game, all you have to do with this one is follow a trophy guide to get through the game. A lot of the trophies are story-related and unmissable, and then a few of them are related to making specific decisions and specific endings throughout the game. So you'll just need to make a couple of backup saves here and there, and you can knock out the Platinum Trophy in about 3 minutes per version. So yeah, it took about 3 minutes per version, so it is a little bit of a longer game than the previous Sakura Succubus, but still quick, easy Platinum Trophy. Of course, this isn't really how you're supposed to play these kind of games, but it's good for a dumpster divey type of stream, and I mean, it's a vampire novel. vampire stuff, like, hasn't been interesting since, like, the first Twilight book and movie, like, 10 years ago, and even then, only certain people actually were ever interested in them. Anyway, next game was Katana. So this game would probably be fairly time-consuming if you had to play it normally, but thankfully this game actually has a cheat code available that allows you to skip through levels. Now there's like over 60 total levels across these 12 worlds that you would have to play through, and I'm sure they would actually be pretty easy with a guide. I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult at all, but without a guide, I'm sure it would be a little bit tougher, but the good thing is there is a cheat code that just allows you to skip through each level very quickly. So just complete all 12 worlds and however many levels that is, like 60 to 70, maybe 80 levels total, and you can get your Platinum Trophy in about 9 to 10 minutes. Devoured by Darkness is a very similar type of game. I think it's made by the same developer, and it's another game that has cheat codes available to it. All you have to do is beat the game's 20 levels, but once again, there is a cheat code you can put in that allows you to skip through each level instantaneously, and therefore grab your Platinum Trophy in 1 to 2 minutes. I don't think either of these games have PS5 versions that I'm aware of, and even if they did, I wouldn't be playing them until like another Dumpster Dive stream, probably in like December or something, if I do another one this year. We'll come back to Tarot readings because the other version of this game, I played it not until Sunday, so we'll get back to that later. Chess Brain Dark Troops. So this is a chess puzzle game, and it would actually probably be quite difficult if you had to do it without a guide. And you do have to legitimately beat it as well, but the good thing is if you follow a guide, you can get through all 30 levels without really a whole lot of issues. Wait, what? How is complete level 30... Huh, now that's weird. So is the final trophy, like, glitched for some people or something? Because those two are supposed to unlock at the same time, so those trophies should be unlocking at the same time and should have the same rarity. That's weird. But anyway, all you have to do is simply beat the game's 30 chess puzzles, and if you follow a guide, you are going to have no problem with this. It just takes about 10 to 15 minutes because it's a little bit tougher to control than some games out there, but it's very, very easy. So just beat those 30 levels, you get your Platinum Trophy, good to go. I've done quite a few of these chess games over the last few years. Space Roguelike Adventure. So this is another one of those games where there is a cheat code available that allows you to skip through the game very quickly. Basically, all you have to do is you have to beat all of the levels of the game, so beat all 5 bosses. But before you beat all of them, you want to use the cheat code that gives you God Mode for one, I think is a cheat code, and then as well as a cheat code that gives you a bunch of money, because you need to use the money to purchase ammunition, a weapon, an implant, a drink, and a bracer. You can buy them from the first store that you come across at the very beginning of the game. Then you just have to jump a total of 300 times, which is pretty self-explanatory. Hit the X button 300 times. And then you have to break 10 total items, which you can do pretty much every level, sort of right when you start. Just break any objects that you see in your current field of view, and you'll get both of these trophies without too much trouble. And then just level up once, which should also come naturally while you're working on breaking everything, jumping, and buying things, and just beating those 5 bosses. So again, just use the cheat code to skip through the levels. This game took me about 9 minutes to get the Platinum Trophy, or might have taken about like 11 minutes to get the Platinum Trophy, but obviously quick and easy. And I mean, this game actually wasn't too badly designed. Like, this game actually probably would have been reasonably fun to do without the level skipping glitches, but hey, it was a Dumpster Dive stream, so gonna take the easy way out whenever we can. Next up, we have Earth Marines. Now, this game actually was kind of fun. It was also helpful because it's another game that has cheat codes available, and if you enable the cheat codes, you have God Mode available, but you still have to actually beat the levels normally. So this game was actually kind of fun. It's a top-down zombie shooter type game. So you're, I guess, a survivor trying to kill a bunch of zombies. Each level has a different type of objective. Some of them require you to, like, kill all the zombies on the level. Some of them require you to collect a certain item or destroy a certain thing. And all you have to do to get the Platinum Trophy is complete all 10 levels of the game, as well as die a single time, which you can get as your last trophy, or you can just do it as your first trophy, then go back to the main menu and input your cheat code for God Mode. The one thing about this game, though, is that ammunition is limited, so you might want to be a little bit careful and not just, like, go around shooting everything in sight, just maybe take a little bit of care with your ammunition. So yeah, that game actually wasn't too bad. I would say that that one is definitely worth picking up at some point. It's not too bad at all. This game was like 50 cents at some point, and that's the only reason I picked it up, or heck, it may have been free, actually. Because it's more of an app, but it's just dumb. It's basically a dice roller, and that's really all I can say about it. It's literally just a dice rolling game. So it's an easy platinum, obviously, a very quick and easy platinum. It's just a question of, why is this a thing that exists? Like, seriously, why does it even exist? I'm sure that there are actually probably like better free apps on like the iPhone App Store that work better than this. So you have to perform 60 dice rolls in a single session without using the roll manager. That's basically just like hitting the X button or the square button a bunch of times consecutively, and you'll end up getting all of these first few trophies with no issues whatsoever. Then you have to roll 2 3s in a row and 2 6s in a row, and a 6. All of these are just gonna come naturally as long as you're just spamming the buttons, but they are obviously luck-based, so it might take a few rolls, or they might come very quickly for some people. Then with this one, let's see, what were these other trophies? So I'm trying to remember what this was. Okay, so every time you roll the dice, you have like a counter that goes up. So for these trophies, you had to reach a total of 20,000, which just basically requires you to keep spamming the buttons over and over again until you reach 20,000 total points. You also have to keep it at exactly 100, which is best done after you do this whole reset thing. And then you can just roll it up to 100, and you can use the dice management feature, which just allows you to set whatever the dice value is or whatever the number is. So again, it makes like no sense why this has any trophies whatsoever. Roll a 10, that's going to be unmissable while just going for the 20,000 points and the 60 rolls in a single session. And then the roll manager is the little thing where, it lets you set whatever you want the score to currently be. So it just makes no sense why this even exists, and I can't figure out why it exists. But hey, it's an easy 3-minute platinum trophy, so great. Whatever. What else is there to say about it? Next up, Sakura Succubus 3 for the PS4 and PS5, the third of the Succubus games. I think I've done the fourth one. I might not have, though. I'm pretty sure I've done the fifth one, though, and I know I did the first one. I think I got the first one for free, actually, which is why I did it. So this one is just like the second game. All you have to do is pick certain dialogue options and get certain endings by making a couple of backup saves along the way. And that's how you get all of your trophies. Just follow a guide and you can knock this platinum trophy out in about 3 minutes per version. Again, not much more else to say about it. It is what it is. It's just another visual novel type of game. And it's a super quick, easy platinum trophy. Just make decisions and make a couple of backup saves. So finally, we have Tarot Readings Premium. So I've done all these other games in the past. So there was like an astrology and horoscope one and a couple other ones like that. So this was the only one I was missing. They're always kind of expensive, so I was always waiting for it to go on sale. So I decided to finally pick it up because it was finally on sale for like half price at some point, and decided to just go ahead and knock out the rest of this whole series. So the trophies are very, very easy overall, but it is kind of a weird list at one point, as you'll see later on. Now, I will say, I was having a lot of fun playing this on that night, because I typed in something really stupid in the first, answer, and then tried to play it legitimately to see what would happen. And it just matched way too perfectly to the inappropriate words I typed on screen. So go check out that stream. It was actually a whole lot of fun. I was just dying laughing this whole time playing this game. So that was actually probably the highlight of the night, was playing this thing legitimately. Playing these games legitimately is hilarious because it's just so weird and awkward at times. But then the Celtic Cross is when you pick 10 of the cards out of the full deck and you have to read all of them. Then the 3-card reading is just 3 cards. Romance is like 3 to 5 cards, or maybe 7 cards. That's based on romance. Careers, same thing. It's like 3 to 7 cards based on careers this time. You have to zoom in and examine a card for this trophy, and then as soon as you do that, hit the button in the upper right of the screen, I believe it is, that allows you to compare it with the same card from the other decks, and you'll knock both those trophies out with no problem. So then this trophy you're going to get just by completing all of those 4 different types of card readings back to back during a single session. You can't close out of the game while doing it, or else it won't unlock. Then you also have to load up a saved reading, which you're going to save, like every single reading you get is technically saved. So just go to the load up feature and you can just look at one of your old ones and just knock this trophy out real quick. For this one, you have to change the card style, which is done from the main menu, and then complete any reading, which I would recommend just doing the 3-card one because it's the quickest. Then you have to, actually we'll come back to that one, you have to do a multiplayer reading until the end, so once again do this with the 3-card version and just put in a second controller, or actually no, you don't need a second controller, you can do it all just with one controller, so that actually makes it very easy, you can just do it all with one controller. Then we have this trophy, which is really, really weird, because I don't think we've ever had a trophy like this in one of these games, so you have to have 5 readings on completely different dates. Now, thankfully, you can manipulate your internal console clock to get this trophy done really quickly, but it's just a really weird trophy, and it's like, why is this in the game? It's pointless. I don't know why it's there, but it's there, so just keep that in mind that you will have to manipulate your clock settings to get all the trophies in this game, unless you actually want to play this game for 5 straight days or something. So it looks like first trophy was at 10:06 and that was at 10:21. So it took me about 15 minutes to get the PS4 version, even though I was technically playing it somewhat legitimately. And then the PS5 version I knocked out on Sunday, but I was able to do it a little bit faster because I knew exactly what to do and wasn't actually like playing it legitimately. So 3:19 up to 3:26. So this version only took about 7 minutes. Oh wait, no, it took about 10 minutes. Never mind, so this one took 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, so 10 minutes here, 15 minutes for the other version. I'm not sure you could do it a whole lot faster, but I finally finished the series of those games, so thankfully never have to touch any of those ever again. And like I said, it was kind of funny playing them legitimately because they were just so stupid and they were just such ridiculous moments in them. And I was just like dying playing this one on stream Friday because it fit certain things way too perfectly. Then I was also, a bit intoxicated, so that probably made it funnier. Alright, so let's go ahead and sync up our trophies. Alright, level 874, 83%, 28,686 total trophies, getting a little bit closer to the 29,000 milestone, if that's really a milestone. 826 platinums, 5,530 golds, 7,681 silvers, 14,649 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. Well, the major focus of this upcoming week is, of course, to finish Modern Warfare 3 and then never have to look at the PS5 version until Black Ops 6 comes out in like another 3 months, in which case I will have to re-download the whole 300 gigabyte package and play through another Call of Duty game. Now, Black Ops 6 actually looks pretty good, and I hope that it ends up being really good, but I'm not gonna, hold my breath on that. You never really know with Call of Duty, because Modern Warfare 3 was not very good, so, it's Treyarch making it, so that's a good thing. Also, though, Treyarch tends to make the harder trophy lists, so that's not necessarily a good thing. So, I guess we will see, though I'm still kind of annoyed that version's gonna come out on PS4 as well. But along with Modern Warfare 3, I don't really know what I'm going to be playing this week, because now that we're finishing up all these major projects, finished off Fallout 4 a couple weeks ago, then we finished off The Walking Dead this past week, and now Modern Warfare 3 is almost done. So I'm not really sure what I want to stream next after that, because I'm not going to do another Telltale game anytime soon. In fact, I think the only other one I would probably stream would probably end up being like Wolf Among Us 2 when it comes out. So it wouldn't be anything like that, and I don't really want to stream the PS4 version of Modern Warfare 3. I probably will just go ahead and do it sooner than later just to knock it off the list because it's fresh in my mind, and now that I won't have to grind the 50,000 zombies kills a second time, it should only take like 20 to 30 hours to get the platinum, so it wouldn't be too bad. Aside from those, though, I don't really know what I want to play next. Like I said, I'm kind of at a weird point where I'm not really sure what I want to do as future games. So, on my list, though, I haven't looked at this list in quite a while, so I know for future DLC, we'll probably get another Minecraft DLC next June or next July. We're supposed to get 3 Spider-Man DLCs at this point, is what I've heard. So that's a good thing. I'm actually excited to see that, and hopefully we actually do end up getting that. Fallout 76, I'm sure will continue to get support for about the next 4 years, because they said it's supposed to get support for 10 years, so that's, I guess, good. But for August, I guess it would be, my whole list right now, I have, GTA 5's final DLC trophy if I ever decide to go back to it. Dead Rising 1 as well as Dead Rising 2 off the record. Off the record, I'm not too worried about doing, but that might not be a bad one to do next, actually, just because, yeah, it's got some multiplayer stuff to it, but I don't think you have to beat the whole story. I think you just have to do stuff in the sandbox mode with 2 people, and then you don't have to do the 72,000 kills, or in this case, 100,000 kills. You don't have to do it during the story. You can do it during sandbox, which makes it quite a bit easier, so that shouldn't be too bad. Still got to go do the other version of Resistance Retribution, got to go back to the other version of Resident Evil 4 Remake, so the PS4 version. Still got to finish off Shadow of the Colossus and Outer Worlds, and like I said, also the Modern Warfare 3 PS4 version I'll probably do sooner rather than later. And then in terms of videos to work on, of course, this past week I got out the Q&A video. That was on Sunday. So with that out of the way, I can go full steam ahead on finishing the 701 through 800 Platinum Trophy video. It's pretty much, well, not quite done, but it's like probably 70 to 75% of the way done. So I might be able to have that out by the end of this week. If not, it'll be out next week for sure. And then the next Fallout lore video, I didn't get a lot of work on that one done this past week because I was kind of busy with other stuff going on. And then I think the next big trophy video I might do, I think I'm just going to do Modern Warfare 3 before I do Dead Rising 2's video, just because I think I can put together Modern Warfare 3's video a little bit faster, because it's only like 4 live streams, and it was only the campaign, so it's just going to be a few moments of me insulting the campaign. It's probably not going to be as detailed as like the Modern Warfare 2 one or the Bugsnax one, because it's not like they actually cared about detailing their game. So that's probably going to be the next one, then Dead Rising 2 would be the next video after that for the bigger trophy videos. And like I said, that Fallout lore video didn't get a lot of work on it done, but hopefully I can get a lot of work on it done this coming week along with that major trophy update. And I think that's really going to be about it for today's update. Like I said, this is going to be a long one because got quite a few things to talk about. I will say, though, plans could be a little bit up in the air this coming week because for those of you who know my work scenario and everything, I think things are about to go even more crazy this coming week, so I don't know how drained I'm going to be from that, or, how much I'm going to be able to focus on gaming with some of that. I guess we'll have to see, because now that my, local area manager type of boss has found a much better job somewhere else, they're going to have to be replacing her with either me or the other person that I work with, and there's a lot of stuff going on, there's stuff behind the scenes that they would probably illegally try to use to stop the coworker from getting the promotion, and then if I'm the one that's offered it because of that, then I'm going to have certain conditions that must be met to accept it, because, once again, for those who know, you know how much I despise this place and all the illegal crap they do, so I don't care what happens at this point. It's just kind of see where it goes. So yeah, we'll see how much that messes with me this coming week and see if that just takes up too much of my time or energy at any time. Hopefully it won't, though. So, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave me a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so already. Let me know down in the comments what you guys were working on this past week. Let me know maybe your thoughts on doing a Platinum Dumpster Dive, or if you've ever really done one yourself or might do one in the future. And yeah, I will see you guys later this week for more content.